What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in the matter of just 2 days, we're going to start hearing answers, and we're going to get these questions answered whether or not we are going to get some additional relief. Because in just a matter of 2 days, we could have an answer as to whether or not 40 million people here in the United States are going to receive some form of stimulus. So, according to the White House, they say that relief is coming very soon. Now, this is the interesting part. And it's funny how the government works, because they tell us that the American dream is to own a home and work for 50 years of our life and then hopefully retire. But it's not that simple because of the high price of goods and services. How can we buy a home when prices are so high? How can we buy a home or afford things like college when wages are just too low? And when we're putting money aside for retirement, it makes it very difficult. Now, even today, home buyers are simply backing out of deals. They don't want to move forward because the price is too much, because rates are too high. We're seeing savings rate just plummet. And putting money aside into retirement is the last thing on most people's mind. And let me just ask you this. Over the past, let's say 6 months, have you put at least 10% of your income into some form of retirement? Let me know down in the comment section below, because according to reports, the answer is no. But with that said, what is everybody thinking about at this time? Is it about retirement? Is it about buying a home? No, that's not what anybody's thinking about. What most people are thinking about is February 28th. On February 28th, which is in just 2 days, the Supreme Court is going to be discussing President Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness. This is the big question mark that everybody needs and wants answered. Now, here's what I can tell you. Currently, there's 2 conservative-backed lawsuits that have actually paused President Biden's plan to cancel student loan debt for federal borrowers. This has been going on for quite some time. Remember, this is a plan that was announced back before the midterm elections. So this was announced back in September, August of 2022. We're now at the end of February 2023. We also know the Education Department originally was accepting applications for relief, but they had to close the application portal once the lawsuits happened. Even the Biden administration announced that more than 16 million people had been approved. And all these people started to get notices, started to get emails that you have been approved for student loan forgiveness. Everybody was so excited that their debt was going to be forgiven. It was going to go away. And the good thing with this debt is that you are not going to have to claim this as income at the end of the year. But here's the thing. This email, these notifications, these were sent out prematurely because until the lawsuit is settled, these people cannot get student loan forgiveness. So this is why this week is so important. We're going to get answers as to whether or not student loan forgiveness is even legal. But according to Senator Elizabeth Warren, she says this. She says, and I quote, "President Biden has the legal authority to cancel student debt. President Biden's cancellation plan will deliver critical relief to tens of millions of hardworking Americans who have been crushed by student debt. The Supreme Court needs to do its job and apply the law as it is written." Now, yes, according to the law, it states that the Education Department does have the authority to cancel student loan debt. However, the law is also vaguely written. So even though one can say that yes, it is within the scope of the law, others can say that no, this is not how this bill was intended to be delivered. Because again, this comes through the HEROES Act. This is the problem. The HEROES Act, which was a bipartisan bill, both Republicans and Democrats voted for this bill. The problem with this is the majority of people didn't even read it. So this was included, but the majority of people didn't read the bill, and then they voted yes for it. Now, it is unclear how the Supreme Court is going to rule. We do not know at this point. But what we do know is that the White House will not stop. We have heard from multiple White House officials, that the White House is not going to stop, even if the student loan forgiveness plan is struck down. What we are hearing is that the Biden administration is going to provide relief one way or another. It just depends on this bill. So if it isn't student loan forgiveness, then it will be something else. That is what we're hearing. Even one White House official said just the other day, they said, and I quote, "Just because the public health emergency will end soon doesn't mean we will stop providing relief." They are adamant on pushing forward with additional relief, providing for the American people. However, the difficult part with all of this is that the United States doesn't have any money. We are struggling. We are in debt. We have to figure out a way to pay off our debts first, then we can provide additional relief to the American people. That is at least according to multiple economists. However, whether or not that is the case and that is what we do, we don't know. We will find out very soon. Now, let me just address this one question. Will we see these 40 million people get this up to $10,000 or really up to $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant, but up to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness? Will we see this soon? According to the White House, they say yes. This is going to come out very soon. As soon as the Supreme Court rules on this, then we will have an answer and we will start accepting those people that have applied for student loan forgiveness. Here's what I can tell you. If this does go through, we could also see more lower courts get lawsuits as well. That would put this on hold again. I don't know if we're going to continue to see either it gets put on hold or it just goes through. That's the hard part. What I do know, though, as far as those 40 million people that would get this relief, this is going to be huge. But the big issue is, how do they overcome this? If they don't get it, how do they overcome it? If they do get it, what do they use that savings for? Because according to multiple reports, the average payment from these 40 million people is over $400 per month. So if you are paying $400 per month for student loan debt, what are you then going to take that money and put it towards? The reason why I ask this question is because at this time, student loan payments are paused. We haven't been paying student loans for the past 3 years. Because of this, the majority of people that are going to see this student loan debt get forgiven, the problem there is they haven't been making payments anyway. So this money, this debt is really going to be forgiven, just go away. But as far as the money that's going to help contribute to the economy, to going to buy a home, pay off a car, put money towards retirement, that money isn't even there. So even though this could potentially be a huge amount of relief to 40 million plus people, the problem is it might not do much for our economy. So we will see. But moving forward, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates regarding what goes on with the Supreme Court and the student loan forgiveness program. So as soon as we get more information on that, I promise I will fill you in. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.